Good morning, everybody. It's me, your boy. In today's episode, there's no small task. My biggest storage building ever. Smash like for more and enjoy. Alright, so today we're continuing what we started in the last episode. If you haven't seen the last episode, you're going to be so confused. Like, more confused than ever because that's a lot of quartz. Where did I get all this quartz? And wait for it, even more quartz right over here. I'm excited for this build. We need to jump right into it. Prepare to be impressed. In today's episode, not only are you going to see the gigantic world record beetroot farm in the background the whole time, but you're also going to see quartz, like a lot and an absurd amount of quartz. So this build is going to be big. It's 60 by 30. That's what we talked about last episode. I think today, to make sure this build actually fits in and so I don't have to ruin that beautiful creation over there, I think we start over here by the wheat farm and figure out the outline, the shape, and if it works, doesn't mess that thing up at all, then we're good to go, and we move on. The middle of the build, right there. That looks like pretty much the perfect spot for the middle. Now, of course, this is a glorious, gigantic, large build. This build, with such a grand, big build, of course, if somebody were to build this build and not use arches, then tragedy. True tragedy. Very sad moment of our times. It wouldn't be good. The arch shape that I'm going to go with here is going to be 3 blocks wide. 3 block wide arch, 3 block wide arch, 3 block wide, 3 block wide arch. I don't know. You try saying that 3 times fast. It's literally impossible. You won't be able to do it. I am so excited for this build today. Like, genuinely, I feel like I always say it, but like storage building episodes, always one of my favorite episodes because they completely reshape the world. Like, somebody please make this meme for me. World before storage building, and then it's like bad or not good or whatever, and then world after storage building. It's glorious, it's beautiful, and it's great. That's exactly what we're doing today. So, this build is going to end up being a little bit of an... Oh, that mine's quick. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. This build is basically going to end up being a gigantic oval. The roof of this build, well, to put it one way, the roof is going to be invisible. To put it a different way, the roof won't exist, meaning this build is going to be fully open to the sky. I think leaving this thing open to the sky is going to be really, really nice. One day we have that elytra, we soar right into the inside of this build, and actually, look at this thing. This is perfect. If my dimensions are correct here, this is literally perfect. We don't mess up the zombie spawner. So, outline. Clearly, I kind of know what I'm doing here today. This is the outline of the build that I'm going to create here. We have lots and lots of pillars. We have, well, right now that's it. Right now we just have pillars. It'll be more though. I did a little bit of material gathering in between episodes. I ran around and found all of the oak wood that I have inside of this world. We're going to need them. I've also been smelting up stone. We're going to need stone as well. I think I want to put this build not only up on top of this hill right here, but then also on top of a platform. So it's like a hill on top of a hill. I think I want this platform to be smooth stone and normal stone. So this build is going to be like really organized. It's going to be essentially a gigantic pattern. To break out of that pattern a little bit, I think the build of this thing needs to be like not perfect. Like smooth stone all over the place. It would be a literal chessboard. And I mean, no offense to chess, but hey, you know what? Story time. Picture this. Me and the boys sitting there in 3rd grade. Where are we sitting? Chess club. Yep, that's right. I was in chess club. I don't know if you couldn't tell. Maybe my like intellect shines through or, you know, something like that. Yeah, me and the 3rd grade boys sitting in chess club. That was a vibe. True story. So I have the outline in now, like with all of the stone and everything. When I was doing that, I swapped out the stone on the outside of the build with grass. Definitely don't want stone next to the build. On the inside, not really worried about it. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with the floor on the inside. So yeah, don't worry about it. Next step is going to be move all of these pillars a little bit higher up. Now that I know that the shape is definitely going to fit and going to work, we need to get the shape starting on top of the stone. This is a big build. It's going to require a lot of quartz. Like, I'm thinking maybe these quartz pillars are like 16 blocks tall, so 4 pillars equals 1 stack. Yep, a lot. So any place there's quartz, maximize. Alright, so now that that's done, we can start talking about the rest of this build. This build is going to be tall. Like I said, I think each pillar right there is going to end up being 16 blocks tall. I'm thinking 3 stories on this build. 3 is the golden number. 3 stories is probably going to be like the perfect height. So that's what we're looking at. Pretty tall. Probably should try and do some progress shots today, like jump back to the mycelium and take a look at the build. Right now, that's what we're looking at. Truly impressive. I know, but just wait. So we're going to do these pillars on the outside of the build. Now, meanwhile, while I'm working on the build, over here I have a smelting operation going on. I'm really realizing that, honestly, should have built a mushroom farm first. Definitely should have built auto smelter first. We're going to need a lot of smooth quartz as well. Arches. I mentioned arches earlier on in the episode. Arches are exactly it. This is how we create the arch right there. Smooth quartz staircase. It's literally perfect. Do it a couple blocks off of the ground. It'll make this thing feel like really, really tall, strong, sturdy, cool. Yeah, all of those things. So probably like dead center, we come back in, pull out whatever I do right there and replace it with like an entrance building or something like that. But for now, we're not really going to worry about it. If we can get the shape of the building, then I think I could probably pretty easily come back in and change that. To split it up into sections and to make it way less flat, calcite. We're going to take calcite and pop out a little bit. All right, next up comes the expensive part of the build, but fortunately, it's really not going to be that bad. It won't be that expensive because it's mushroom block. If I run out of this stuff today, not a problem. All I need to do is walk over to the mycelium, take a look at the build, then turn around and start growing mushrooms. Not a problem at all. So mushroom blocks. So these things are also white, but they're like a little bit darker than the calcite and the quartz. Putting these things in the back, I think, at least, hopefully, it's going to make this build like look a little bit like deeper, you know, and I'm going to space this out from the pillar to give it even more depth. The mushrooms also have a cool texture that I like. I think these things in the back of the build, once it's finished, this is going to make it look really sweet. We put the wall of mushrooms in and then we're almost done with the first floor actually. All we need is a block to finish things up and close it off. This block is kind of sitting in the back. We will barely see it. White wool. Cheap, perfect, and matches. So we have this whole line in right here, then we're left with this space right here. It's a little bit awkward. I think what I do is I just fill in with random blocks. I think I'm going to end up covering that with something else anyway, so it doesn't matter, which means cut costs. So it's amazing. This is the best part of the episode. I could take a couple pillars back, like pull these ones out in here, fill this with the filler block right there, add a couple details to the front, and then we end up with something that looks like this. These are slightly despicable details, I know. That's kind of the plan for layer number 1. Now, on the corners, I think basically all I do is copy it, but push it back a little bit. So same thing right there and same thing right there. So take care of that. Copy it all over the first layer. And then you end up with something that looks a little bit something like this. So check this out. With the walls fully finished on the first layer, you can start to see the curve for sure. It's going to come to life once I get the other layers in too. This is big. This is grand. This is like exactly it. It's perfect. Now that brings us to the corners and then eventually the next layer. So the corners. Right now I had pillars in there. I'm thinking mushroom stem blocks or calcite. I'm not too sure which one I'm going to do quite yet. I think what I'll do is I'll start with mushroom stem because I really like them. And also I kind of have these calcite bands wrapping around the side of this thing. And then this band, it's going to fully continue all the way around the build. Now over here, the start of the next layer, I think what I do is I start with slabs in here, so cover that up like that. Then I do basically the same thing that I did in the first layer. Meaning from the ground, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I do staircase right there, another staircase right over here, and then I basically connect the arch right there. Mushroom wall in the back, so fill that in, and then start building up right there. Which is gonna mean that I'm gonna need a lot of mushroom blocks, so I'm starting to wonder if I maybe potentially undershot this one. But I do that same mushroom wall thing, I do that arch thing, and then I do that calcite band thing. And then we'll start to end up with something that looks like that, except everywhere. Now, I'd like to take a pause from the build to talk about trees. A couple episodes ago, I asked you guys what you thought about trees on the mountain. A big shout out to the subreddit for this one. There was a beautiful poll. It looks like trees on the mountain are kind of an overwhelming winner. Now, next question. Do I add more trees to the mountain? Right now, we're looking at something that kind of looks like this, like little pockets of trees, but I could definitely see some trees being added in, maybe in like the snow part over there. Absolutely behind the statue. I feel like that would make sense, as long as it doesn't block the goat heads. So if you have a take on that one, definitely let me know down below. Let's get back to the build. I've been busy. Last episode, I could have swore 9 stacks of mushroom stems would be more than enough. It wasn't. I got to farming, and I ended up collecting about 5 more stacks, then I used some of the mushroom stems over on the build. Hopefully that's going to be enough. After that, I decided to head over to the nether, just in case I don't have enough quartz. I got this much more quartz. I mean, to be honest, the reserves over here are still doing pretty good, so maybe we're going to have enough. But you never know. The build is shaping up quite beautifully, so check this out. This whole side wall is completely finished. The front wall is fully done. It's blank, it's gonna need a little bit more, but it's done. Over on the inside of that wall, it's also done too. I decided to put a gigantic window in for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I mean, it's a view. Like, with all the walls like that, it's gonna be like pretty closed in. The window will definitely keep it open. Maybe one day I'll have something to look at over here. That's a lot of mushroom stem blocks. Like, a lot that I completely cut out of the equation. All I need to do now is this back wall and the top part of the build. So besties, top of the build, let's talk about it a little bit. So far in this build, every single section has been like the same size. Like floor 1, floor 2, same height. I think on floor number 3, this one right here, we're gonna make things a little bit shorter. I think making things shorter near the top might kind of create this illusion that like the top is farther away, you know, but it's not gonna be much shorter. We're basically gonna cut one block out of the equation here. This means their pillars end up being 16 blocks tall perfectly, which is perfect. I like it. My base is literally crawling with these gray-headed freaks. I, like, literally don't know what to do with them because I have villagers all over the place. Maybe they even hear the villagers, even. That's not good at all. Anyways, check this out. Top section, slightly smaller than the rest. And, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it makes the top section definitely feel like it's farther away. I mean, I guess you be the judge of it. You critique it down below. It's not my job. But, I don't know. I think it kind of works. But the top is really flat. Not good. So, think fast, think fast. Fences. Fences are the most detailed looking thing in the entire game. Fences would look amazing up here. They make it less flat. They look good. The dirt is going to be exposed, so I'm going to have to replace that with either wood or maybe just grass. I mean, the green. It would look nice up here. But it doesn't stop there. Keep thinking, keep thinking. The top of the build just kind of abruptly ends right now. We're now putting a roof on this thing. Calcite. Calcite is wonderful. It's beautiful looking. It's good. Calcite. We put a line of calcite right here. It pulls it up from the lower area. Makes it feel more finished. Calcite in, that looks great, but doing further analysis, it's insanely flat still. The calcite did not fix it at all. So, smooth quartz slab. Smooth quartz slab. It's going to look really good in here. We make another arch. That's 2 arches. Pretty crazy. Then we do calcite chisel. Chisel calcite. I'm so far into the build today, and I'm still so excited about it. Like, so excited that I can't talk. But then again, talking is not usually my strong point, actually. So, yeah, but yeah, still really excited about the build. So we do this little thing right there, then to cap everything off, I think maybe we do like one more slab up on top right here. That'll kind of wrap around, and then this could probably just stay like that. Or maybe I could do like iron bars, I was thinking. But if it just stays like that, I mean, I think it looks pretty good like that. Then all of these slabs right in here forming the arch. I think it's going to create like a solid border. This peeks through so it feels fully finished. I think that's it. I think that's our entire storage building. Minus the backside. I think I've got it all figured out. The only thing that's making me nervous at this point in the build is the possibility of potentially not having enough materials to finish this entire thing. More specifically the quartz. I mean, if I have to mine mushroom stem, no big deal. I can do that all day long. But go back to the nether and find quartz. I'm kind of raiding the nether entirely of quartz, so I'm gonna have to make this work out somehow. But thoughts in the rain? I like it. I think it looks nice. Let's go ahead and get a little bit further back, take another look at it. Yes, that's definitely it. With the fences up top too, it's a subtle detail. That's perfect. All I need to do is decide if I want to do grass up there or wood. Doesn't really matter from down here, but from up there, definitely going to matter for sure. That's the build. The storage Colosseum. It needs a lot more work, but that's the build. And so, like the astronomically excited British lad that I am today, I got back to the build. The whole backside needs to be finished, and then that top rim needs to be done all the way around the build. I gotta admit, this build has been a lot more work than I really thought it was going to be. I mean, I don't know exactly what I was expecting otherwise. But with that being said, I'm excited. Prepping this build in the last episode, working on it today, it's got me inspired. I've come up with 2 more project ideas while I've been working on this build. They're top secret. Oh yeah, and today's song of the day is that new BS song featuring J. Cole. I don't know what it is about that song, but that song has been looping in my head continuously for like 5 days now. Be careful. Question. Is having the main entrance to my storage building wide open a really bad idea or a terrible idea? I guess we'll find out. Oh yeah, the main entrance to my build is boarded up right now because there's things inside. Are you ready for it? The build in all of its gigantic and naked glory. Here it is right here. This is gigantic, truly massive, easily my biggest storage building ever, and insanely naked. So the build, it looks nice. It looks pretty cool right now, but it definitely needs more detail. I mean, like running around looking at this build, what I've been doing, I'm happy with it. I like it a lot. Like I'm really excited to have this inside of my world, but more. It needs more. The first big idea that I had has to do with our wonderful invention. I was running this thing in between episodes. Azalea, flowering, normal. They're wonderful. We take one of these things, combine them with some bricks, and we get one of the best looking things of all time. Azalea in pot. Oh man, I can see it now. I mean, imagine how amazing this would look from a distance. The azalea sitting inside of the pot in front of the Colosseum window with the trapdoor table too. Like I said, I can see it now. I know exactly how this is gonna look. Perfection, wonderful, looks really good. But it's nighttime right now. The build is kind of dark. I see that as a problem. Light, we need a little bit of it. More specifically, the blue kind. That looks pretty cool, but small problem. The lower layer is now dark, and that's kind of the important one. It needs to be bright down here. So more light it is. Okay, so that's definitely starting to add to the build, but the lower part of the build is definitely still a little bit empty looking. I think we need some blocks sitting around on the outside of the build. One day, riches, riches, and more riches. For today, lapis will do. After all, lapis is pretty cool. I don't really necessarily like the color blue, but it works. But truly, why stop there when we could have even more? Maybe hay bales sitting on the side of the build too. They're a little bit more realistic looking, but still we don't stop there. Crafting table. And then, for the very first time in this world, target blocks. We'll build some of those. See, the goal right now is to make this thing come alive, make it feel busy, like things are going on. Kind of like that. I mean, not bad. It's a start. We could probably come in here with even more things, maybe some different things too, like mob heads, but for now, I think that's good. I don't want to clutter it too much. Eventually, we're going to have a road running in front of this thing somehow. That'll help break it up even more. Now, off to the side of the build, like that hill right there, there's a zombie spawner, but in front of that hill, there's nothing. It's ugly. I mean, quite literally, it's not much, but it does look a little bit better. I have a feeling eventually I'll probably end up tearing those trees down and put a big building right there, but a couple trees in there, for now, it fills up the space a little bit better. Now, looking at this build, it's looking good, but in the words of a wise philosopher, somebody once said, I'm not seeing enough movement. There we go, movement. Now I'm seeing it. I wasn't too sure what to do with the design. Maybe eventually I'll hold a banner pattern contest. We'll see. Now, those top windows look pretty cool, but they also look kind of empty. I have an idea that we can only finish partially today. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit unsure about this one. I'm not sure if we're gonna end up keeping this, but if it works, if it's a hit, armor stands with heads that we collect inside of this world. Like salmon, blaze, glow squid, elder guardian, axolotl. How'd I get that one? Cow, llama, piglin, cod, and another glow squid. We'll see if this works. And then finally, I have this idea for the top of the build. I don't know if this one's gonna work either, to be honest, but I was thinking maybe iron bars. What if we did iron bars right there to kind of like fully cap this thing off and finish it, right? I mean, I don't know, they're kind of cool looking. I feel like it might add to the build. The view from up here is insane. Like, look at all these beats. They look so good. I keep forgetting to remove that red tower, though. Definitely have to remove those things, for sure. Well, Big Pig Brigley, it is time to show the build. Shall we do it? What is that? No. Leave them hanging. No. Despicable. We can't do that. The build, 3, 2, 1, storage, Colosseum. It's beautiful. This gigantic. It's been a project. It's been a trip. It's been a journey. Floating dirt. Oh, no. You are wondering about the other sides of the build that you cannot see? You can't see them. Oh man, I'm so happy with this build. This build is wild. This is easily my biggest storage building that I've ever built. My frames, they're absolutely through the floor with excitement. Yes. I mean, look, realistically, how could you not close out the episode building this gigantic thing with the shaders? And now the armor stands up at the top. Completely forgot to say, the part that we can't finish today is armor. I'm thinking eventually we start exploring the bastion. We explore the end city. We put armor on all of these armor stands up there. It looks wonderful. I mean that, or I set up a big gold farm, go mining, and make the armor myself. Look at this thing from the ground, like looking around, different shots of this thing. It's big. It's so big and cool. I think it's gonna look even more cool too once we start to get like buildings around it, like up on the hill instead of tree, ugly tree. We put building right there, and then the Colosseum like stands out, this glowing, shimmering rock of shimmering. Ah yes, the greatest Minecraft YouTuber poet of all time. That's me. Up on the top of the build, I added a couple details. I did some fences in there, some staircases, some candles, some iron bars. I think it looks pretty nice. This build is fully finished and ready to go. Move in ready, in fact. We're ready to move in, but unfortunately, not today. The biggest build of the entire world. That's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Oh shoot, check this out. I decided to look at the stats just cuz. Items. Most mined items. Brown mushroom stem is literally the second most item in this entire world now. Nether quartz right there from the last episode, over 4,000. And then mushroom stem block, the one that we were building with, is down here, 1,882. I mean, statistically, it's nowhere close to the beats or anything like that, but it's near the top. I mean, mushroom stem, there you are right there, 1844. Patron gang, medical boomsticks, whoopie louvers, noodle pork, Bill W. Thank you all so much for the support. Look at this build, it's big. In fact, I found out that this build is so big, large, and massive that you can actually see the build all the way from over here. And the glow squid, too. Ugh. Oh yeah, and you're probably wondering about the interior of the build. What's going on there? Well, let me get you a viewpoint. Kind of like a spot right here. Ah, yes. So, as you can see clearly here, there is an interior of the build. The build's interior is between the outside walls. It's me, your boy. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.